We are just 1 week away from the Oscars, and we're going to see who's going to walk away with a couple of statues. But the one statue that every single filmmaker strives for is Best Picture. Now, in my Oscar predictions video, I did say that I had seen 7 out of the 10 that were nominated. So, over the course of the next, 2 Saturdays, AMC Theaters is actually providing people with the opportunity to see all 10 of the Best Picture nominees, and we're gonna knock two out of the 10, and 2 out of the 3 that I haven't seen right out the gate. Starting off with this first one, which is my review for Train Dreams. This is a Netflix movie. I don't know if the poster says that it was in select theaters on November 7th. But I don't think, I'm trying to remember here. I may have had my mind set on Wake Up Dead Man as my Netflix movie that I was going to go up and see. But I hadn't seen anything about this movie. I hadn't seen a trailer. I hadn't seen anything. I didn't even know the premise for this movie. But this movie is based off of a book of the same name by Dennis Johnson. This movie stars Joel Edgerton, Felicity Jones, Nathaniel Arcand, Clifton Collins Jr., Carrie Condon, William H. Macy, as well as a whole host of others. And it tells the story of Robert, who is a logger who basically works up in the northwest area of the country, and, is just, logging, cutting down trees, and shipping logs out to wherever they need to go. But during his time on Earth, he feels as though that there may be an omen around him, taking things from him. So, will he be able to outrun his omen that he fears is following him? We'll have to wait and see. So yeah, like I said, I knew absolutely next to nothing about this movie. And I think going into that with that kind of mindset really kind of helped me kind of appreciate this movie on a completely different level. First off, I want to give props to writing and directing. Directing was done by Clint Bentley, who also had a hand in the screenplay alongside Greg Quader. I may be pronouncing that last name correctly spelled Kwedar. So I'm going to say Quader. Again, could be completely off basis on that one. But yeah, we just follow this dude, Robert, through like a good portion of his life. And yeah, it just seems like wherever he goes, like, always something bad happens, like, around him. Like, for instance, one of his fellow workers, who is, I think they say, Chinese, a group of guys come and, like, grab him, and they just bring him onto the bridge that they were making, and they hoy him off, presumably to die. Another guy shows up on a different work job or another job, and is like, hey, can I talk to this person? and because I've been meaning to give him something for a little while now, and that person gets up and he shoots him in the back and then shoots him in the head, and of course gives his rationale as to why, and then just goes on his merry way. And even his best friend, that he's been on multiple jobs with, is not immune to it. Gets thumped in the head by a big falling branch, and eventually dies. And just to see Robert go through all of this, you know all this really bad stuff, that thought kind of does kind of creep into your mind, is like, am I actually a bad omen? Am I actually carrying a bad omen wherever I go, or to the people that I interact with on a semi-regular to regular basis? Is that actually a thing that may happen? So I really, really enjoy that kind of like thought being explored in this movie. So I want to give props to not only Clint, but also Greg, as well as Dennis, excuse me, for kind of the creation of this story. To the cast, Joel Edgerton and Felicity Jones, two actors, funny enough, who are in two separate Star Wars projects. Joel Edgerton was first in Revenge of the Sith as young young Ben Kenobi, or not young Ben Kenobi, young Pa Skywalker, and he would come back to reprise that role again in the Obi-Wan series. And of course, Felicity Jones, famous for, at least in nerddom realm, she's famous for being in Rogue One, but just last year, she was nominated for an Oscar for her performance in The Brutalist, which was also nominated for Best Picture last year. I thought both of them did a really good job with their performances in this, especially Edgerton, who really conveys through his facial expressions just kind of like the turmoil that is going on in his mind of like, am I a bad omen to like the people around me? And then like the real kind of tipping point is like when there's a big forest fire that happens relatively close to where he's living, that eventually take his wife and kid. It's like, yeah, this has happened to me, but I'm still gonna hold out hope to, hopefully they both come back. And one night he does think that his daughter actually did come back, and tends to her and tries to get her well again, and then of course next morning just gone. And so kind of living with that thought, it almost kind of like ages a person faster than it ever should. And I think Edgerton really, I think, plays both the paranoia well, but also plays it as, as a guy wise beyond his years, I feel like. Cinematography in this, done by Adolfo Veloso. I may be completely off kilter in the pronunciation of that. I apologize. Cinematography in this was absolutely beautiful. Not just like beautiful nature shots. but also in the fact that it is almost a complete square frame, which was another thing that I did not know about going into this movie. Like I knew Begonia, which is also nominated for Best Picture. I knew that one was relatively close to being a square frame, but I didn't know this one was also as well. So seeing that, made me appreciate this movie in a completely different light, because with as a square frame, you are pretty much just capturing what is ostensibly, what is in front of the camera lens, maybe a little bit, outside of it, but what is essentially in front of the camera lens is what you're capturing. Or at least that is my understanding in terms of like how you film if you're filming it with a square frame, essentially. And the way that they were able to capture some of this stuff, like it looks like almost every single frame is a frame that you could, hang on your wall and say, that's art. Like the cinematography in this is really, really good. Bryce Denzer was the one that did the music for this. I thought he did a really good job. Just really simple orchestrations with violins and string instruments. Like, just really, really simple stuff. And like this and Hamnet, like just simple orchestrations can make some scenes really, really powerful. And it was really, really well done. Overall, man, I can see why this one was nominated for Best Picture, because it just shows a harrowing journey of a guy who's just like, you know, excuse me, constantly on edge of just like, when is this omen going to come and get me, essentially. And the way that it is portrayed throughout the film and through the performance of Edgerton, I thought was done really, really spectacularly. Really good direction, really good writing, amazing performances throughout the cast, really good music, amazing cinematography. And I can see why this movie was nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, legitimately. But those are just my thoughts on the movie. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of the movie, and if you have read the book that this movie is based off of. Let me know how good the book is down below as well. But I think that is pretty much it for me on this one, guys. Be safe out there, and if you ever feel so inclined as to, slow down and, smell the roses from time to time, you can just, hop on a train and do so. Because, the rails may not be used quite as frequently as they were back then, but seeing things from a train is, I would say, much more pleasant than seeing it from a car. Because, train is, nice, and I wouldn't necessarily say slow moving, but it is more steady than, the fast-paced nature of a car. But that's just my opinion. I will catch you guys next time.